تفضل ريد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن انس رضي الله عنه ان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: يحدث المؤمنون يوم القيامه حتى يهموا بذلك هنا لو استشفعنا الى ربنا فيشفعنا من مكاننا فياتون ادم فيقولون انت ادم ابو الناس خلق الله بيده واسكنك جنته وأسجد لك ملائكته وعلمك أسماء
وأسجد له ملائكة ده مفعول هنا مفعول ملائكته. He made أسجد, he made them make sajda for you.
أسجد لك ملائكته وعلمك أسماء كل شيء اشفع لنا عند ربك حتى يريحنا من مكاننا هذا فيقول لست هناك لست هناك ويذكر خطيئته التي أصاب أكله من الشجرة وقد نهى عنها.
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This hadith we're going to do now, it deals in depth with what we term as Shafa'at Kubra. So you need to familiarize yourself with these two terms to understand all of these hadiths. If you remember correctly, Shafa'at Kubra means to intercede for Hisab to start. And that will be exclusively the work, the mandate of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Nobody else will be able to intercede for that, right? Then the other one is to intercede that people be saved from the fire of Jahannam. That will happen at different junctures. Just when a decision is made that a certain person will go to Jahannam, or even after a person is already in Jahannam, for him to be extricated from Jahannam, that all comes under the purview of Shafa'at Sughra. And that the Anbiya, the Ulama, the Sulaha, the Shuhada, etc., they will all engage in Shafa'at Sughra, right? So is it quite clear to you? You are familiar with the difference between Shafa'at Kubra and Shafa'at Sughra, right? Now, once you understood that, let's look at the hadith. Everything will fall into place nicely. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وعن أنس أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يحبس المؤمنون يوم القيامة. رأيتنا أثارتي أنس رضي الله تعالى عنه said, Nabi said, يحبس المؤمنون يوم القيامة. The people will be kept back. عبس يحبسوا, they will be held back, right? حتى يهموا بذلك. هم يهموا, هم normally means to be concerned with something, right? But yeah, حتى يهموا بذلك. A nice understood translation that you can give here is that until they will be inconvenienced with that. Because now, like you're waiting for something to happen, it's not happening, etc., etc. So now this is part of the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is part of the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are waiting for it to happen and it's not happening. So they will be, you can say, annoyed with that. They will be perturbed with that. So فيقولون right فيقولون لو استشفع لو استشفعنا إلى ربنا, if only we can seek intercession to our Rabb. In other words, someone from amongst can appeal to Allah Ta'ala, petition to Allah Ta'ala. So istashfa' means to seek someone to make. Remember, when something comes on the istaf'ala scale, means you seek it from somebody else. So shafa'a means to make shafa'at, and istashfa'a means to seek somebody else to make shafa'at. لو استشفعنا إلى ربنا, if only we can seek someone out to make shafa'at to our Rabb, you understood? فيريحنا في مكاننا, then he can give us some respite in our place. If somebody makes shafa'at, and then we can be relaxed, we know what our position is, etc., right? فيأتون آدم, they will come to Adam عليه السلام, فيقولون أنت آدم أبو الناس, you are Adam عليه السلام, أبو الناس, the father of all of people, the father of all of mankind, you're the father of mankind, right? You got a proper page on there, eh? No, to see where the proper. Okay, but I must turn the page, right? So, Abu Nasi, you are the father of it. خَلَقَكَ اللَّهُ بِيَدِهِ. Allah Ta'ala created you with His own hands. So obviously we know that Allah Ta'ala doesn't have body parts. Allah Ta'ala doesn't have body parts. Allah Ta'ala doesn't have hands. But the figurative meaning is meant that you are the first person that Allah Ta'ala created. You're the first person that was created by Allah Ta'ala's instruction, etc. Right? Then, وَأَسْكَنَكَ جَنَّتَهُ. Askana, yuskinu, sakana means to love. Askana to make love. He made you love. He habitated you. He settled you. وَأَسْكَنَكَ وَأَسْكَنَكَ جَنَّتَهُ. I settled you in Jannah. وَأَسْجَدَ لَكَ مَلَائِكَتَهُ. Sajda means to make sajda, and ajda to make somebody else make sajda, right? So وَأَسْجَدَ لَكَ مَلَائِكَتَهُ. And he made the angels make sajda for you. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. Right? وَعَلَّمَكَ أَسْمَاءَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. And he taught you the names of everything. وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم أعرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. Right? And وعلمك أسماء كل شيء. And he taught you the names of everything. Now, even in the dunya, when you want to get somebody to do something, first you must butter them up, Mashallah, a good guy, you're very capable. I know if I ask you to do this here, you can do it for me, etc., etc. So you first extol that person's virtues, you win that person over, and after you win that person over, now you tell him, I want you to do this for me, I want you to do that for me, then that person will be able to do it. So they say, look at, so they're preparing mentally. They are preparing mentally. They look here, you are a great prophet. You are the father of mankind. If you ask Allah Ta'ala, definitely Allah Ta'ala will listen, etc. Right? Ishfa' lana inda rabbik. You you intercede on our behalf in the rabbik by Rabb hatta yurihana, because of the hal, until he grants us respite min makanina, from this what we are in, right? Right? Min makanina hadha. Remember when it's a mudaf ilayh, and ism ishara comes after it, ne? You say هذا كتابنا, then it's a mubtada khabar. Kitabuna hadha, from this place of ours, right? You understood it? You sure? When you got the mudaf ilayh, then the ismul ishara comes after it, right? That he give us respite. We want to come out of this. He says, so he says, فَيَقُولُ لَسْتُ هُنَاكُمْ. I am not in that position. I don't have this position that I can. وَيَذْكُرُ خَطِيئَةَ التي أصاب أكله من الشجرة وقد نهي عنه ولكن يأتوا نوحا. Then he will mention his mistake. ويذكر خطيئته التي أصاب أكله, the one he perpetrated the eating from the tree. I'm giving you the literal translation. I mean the word for word translation. See, ويذكر خطيئته, he will mention his mistake, the one أصاب أكله من الشجر, the one he perpetrated the eating from the tree. وقد نهي عنه, while he's been prohibited from eating from it. Right? So what he's saying here is that, look here, I can't go ask Allah Ta'ala to start the intercession because I got my own problems. I got my own baggage that I need to see to. And he's saying, he's making a reference here to the mistake of eating from the tree. Now, this here actually makes reference to another famous masla, which is um, ikhtilaf between us, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and the other firqa batila. And this masla here is named as Ismatul Anbiya. What's the name? And normally, if you look at the Quran under this verse, فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. And Adam alayhi salam disobeyed his Rabb, فَغَوَى, and then he became misguided. So, we, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we say we say that all the Anbiya are ma'soom. Ma'soom means they have divinely protected, they've been divinely protected from any type of sin. Because, and when you do that discussion, inshallah, you'll do the proofs of it. You'll do all the proofs. Like I told you, I'll get hadith Pitaqa, you'll get hadith Jibra'il, you'll get the famous masal Ismatul Anbiya, which is one of the signs which you recognize with Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is, and as I said, we'll do this, we say it is highly inappropriate to discuss the faults and the mistakes of the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wa taslim. In fact, I've just been doing this with the girls upstairs here, and yeah, I opened the discussion for you. Maybe while we're doing this, I can mention to you also. Yeah, I got the other kitab open. I just managed to find the first time. I'll give you, while we're discussing this Ismatul Anbiya, we don't know when we'll do it again in this kitab. I'll give you the detail. There's ittifaq amongst all the ulama. Listen to this, you can write this down. There's no difference of opinion of ulama that Anbiya before Nubuwwat and after Nubuwwat, they've been saved from shirk. So even before a Nabi is a Nabi, even before a Nabi is a Nabi, you don't commit shirk, right? And after Nubuwwat, listen to this nicely, after he becomes a Nabi, there is also ittifaq amongst all our ulama. There's ittifaq amongst all our ulama that a Nabi will commit, he won't commit big sins also after Nubuwwat. Big sins are those which are expressly prohibited, right? So here is ikhtilaf amongst our ulama. That before a Nabi becomes a Nabi, can he commit a big sin? Before, look, Nabi Sallallahu got his Nubuwwat at the age of 18, 40, right? So before he became a Nabi, could he commit a big sin? That's the ikhtilaf. But the preferred opinion according to our ulama also is that even before Nubuwwat, a Nabi would cannot but commit a big sin. There's two instances mentioned in the Siratul Mustafa. Siratul Mustafa is a Urdu compilation on the Sirat of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Originally, it was in Urdu and was written by Mullah Idris Khan Delwi. Mullah Idris Khan Delwi done a lot of work. Mullah Ashraf Ali Tanwi instructed him. Now, this book here is very, very highly rated by Mother Fazl Rahman. I remember when we were doing Dora Hadith, when I done for a second time in Darul Azado, many times I heard Muhammad Rahman say, Ye nihayat ye mustanad kitab hai. It is a very, very authentic and good book on Sirat of Nabi Sallallahu. That is why in our house we chose to do this book, Sirat Mustafa Istalim. Alhamdulillah, we almost finished with it. But it's a good book. So it's now been translated into English. It's now been translated into English. So Alhamdulillah, we found it very beneficial. A lot of times when I speak to you about Sira, even in class, so from our hometown, that we are already in there. There's two incidents mentioned there. One incident, he said, before Nabi Sallam became a Nabi, he was a shepherd. He heard about a party somewhere. Like, they used to have the desert parties. And he went there, and when they used to have music, revelry, drinking, or whatever, he fell asleep. And he only woke up the next day when the party was over. There's another incident mentioned that before Nubuwwat, when they were building the Kaaba, the young men used to take their lower cloth and they should use that to carry the rocks to the Kaaba. Obviously, there was no wheelbarrows, whatever, pakis, whatever. When Nabi saw the other children doing this, when he took his loin cloth off, he fell down unconscious immediately. So there, Mu'ana says, see, here is proof to say that Nabi was divinely protected even before Nubuwwat from big sins. So according to us, the preferred opinion is even before Nubuwwat, that the Anbiya were protected from Kaba'ir, the big sins. You done what is Kaba'ir, we done right. It's so simple for those that are just joining us now, they know what is Kaba'ir. Kaba'ir means those things where there is expressly been prohibited in the Quran, where it's been expressly prohibited in the Sunnah, or there's curses and punishment in the Quran and in the Sunnah, or there is hudud and qisas, like your hands will be chopped off or you'll be lashed. Those are kaba'ir. There are about 40 of them. Yeah, the Asha'ira, they say that it's possible that before Nubuwwat, a Nabi can commit a small sin. But the Maturidiya say no. Then wherever you see in the Quran the Anbiya are being criticized or they're being not criticized, they are rebuked for doing something wrong. We'll say this is like, Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyatul Muqarrabin. Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyatul Muqarrabin. You heard this already before. Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyatul Muqarrabin. You never heard of this before. Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyatul Muqarrabin. You never heard about it before. Okay, I explain this to you. See, say for instance, there are two girls, right? Two girls. One girl doesn't wear a scarf at all, right? One girl doesn't wear a scarf at all. She walks with her hair open. Then you got another girl, she wears full niqab. She wears full niqab, right? Now, say the two decided we must and so say, I wear niqab, let's find a common ground. It's okay, the common ground is the one says, I'm going to start wearing scarf. And I say, okay, I'm going to take my niqab off, and I'm also going to wear scarf. So both of us are wearing scarf. Both of us are wearing scarf. So if you look at that day, two people are doing the same action. Two people are doing the same action. But for one person, it's a pious act, and for the other person, it's an impious act. The exact same action. For the girl that wasn't wearing a scarf, she's doing something good now. She's wearing scarf. Am I right or wrong? And for the girl that was wearing niqab, she's doing an impious act because she's downgrading. She's taking a niqab off. So you see, so what we say, Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyiatul. The good actions of the pious is the impious action of the super close people to Allah Ta'ala. You understood that? I'll give you another example. Somebody is every day early for Salah. Every day is in the masjid in the first of with Takbir Ula is reading namaz. One person doesn't read namaz at all. One person doesn't read Salah at all. So one day, this person that is always in the first surf and is regular, he missed his first rakat and he came there, right? Is that a good thing or bad thing? It's a bad thing for him. But the person that doesn't normally read Salah at all, he came one rakat late. That's a good thing for him because he doesn't normally come to the masjid. So the same act for one person, it's a good thing, for another person, a bad thing. So what you say, Hasanatul Abrar. The good actions of the pious is the bad actions of the super pious, right? So same thing what we're saying here is that the prophets, the Anbiya, they are so close to Allah Ta'ala, even if they do an inappropriate act, they get a stern rebuke. So the fact that they're getting a stern rebuke doesn't mean they committed open sin. Doesn't mean they committed a open sin. It just means that because they are so close, they're going to get the stern rebuke. For example, same thing, another way to understand an example. Maybe you got a teacher, right? You got a teacher, and you got one person that is his student, and you got one, and he's in the class also. You got his child there, for example, is in his class, right? In the class, you also got his student, a normal student that is not his son, and you also got somebody that is his son, right? If he do something, he won't, maybe he never do his homework or anything. He won't be so hard on him. But the son never do his homework. He'll be hard, he'll shout his son, he'll beat his son. Why you never do your homework? Why? Because he's got a different relationship with his son. Right? So same thing here. The fact that a Nabi is being reviewed in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala saying, فَأَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. Adam alayhi salam disobeys his Rabb. And you stern doesn't mean he committed an open sin. It's just because of the close relationship. They're getting a stern rebuke. As I told you, Hasanatul Abrar, Sayyatul Muqarrabin. Because at the close sons of Allah Ta'ala, even the inappropriate acts, it is being rebuked as though they committed an open sin. Are you with me? Now, just with regards to this here also, Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Arabi, This is a principle, it's important. He mentions, listen to the mistakes of the Anbiya, alayhimus salatu taslim. There's a nice ibarat he mentioned. Recently there's a controversy. We have there's one alim that is the head of the Jamaat. He's been making inappropriate statements with regards to the Anbiya alayhimus salatu taslim. And he has been making inappropriate statements with regards to the Sahaba Ikram. Like I'll tell you, he said, for example, just some example, and many he said, one example he said this year, see, Musa alayhi salam went to speak to his Rabb, and he abandoned his people for a short while. And because he abandoned his people and he made da'wah with them, that is why they worshipped the calf and they went to shirk in his absence. Right? That's one example. Another example, he said, look at the Sahaba Ikram after Nabi Sallallahu passed away, right? When they left Dawat in Tabligh, they were more concerned with the succession, who will be the Khalifa after Nabi Sallallahu passes away. So they abandoned Dawah. Because they abandoned Dawah for 3 days. That's why the tribes around Medina became murtad, right? Now, these are highly inappropriate statements. Obviously, you need to elect a Khalifa, all that type of thing. Now, he's using the instance of the Dawah of the Anbiya alayhi salatu to prove his importance of Dawah, which is disrespect. The statement here of Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Arabi says here, قال أبو بكر العربي في أحكام القرآن واضعا أساسا. He said this, and when he made the statement, he put down important usul واضعا أساسا لأدب الأنبياء, for the adab of the أنبياء. وقائد غريب, a good, he said, يقول لا يجوز لأحدنا اليوم أن يخبر بذلك العدم إلا إذا ذكرناه في أثناء قول تعالى عنه أو قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, this is what he's saying. It is not appropriate to us to mention the mistakes or the faults of any of the Anbiya, Adam alayhi salam, except when you want to understand the verse. So you won't go out of your way to say Adam alayhi salam went against Allah Ta'ala, he done this, he done. Yes, when you come across the verse in the Quran, when you come across the hadith, can you mention it? But other than that, you won't mention it. That's what I'm saying. And you'll explain what happened. I'll read again for you. See, لا يجوز لأحدنا اليوم, not appropriate for anyone today, أن يخبر بذلك, to speak about the mistakes of Adam, إلا إذا ذكرنا في أثناء قول تعالى. Yes, when we doing the tafsir of the verse, or we doing the tafsir of the hadith, then right, أو قول النبي فأما أن يبتدئ ذلك من قبل نفسه, for anybody to out of his own discuss any of the mistakes of the Anbiya, فإما أن يبتدئ ذلك من قبل نفسه فليس بجائز لنا. It's not permissible. He says في آباء أدنينا. Look here, he says it's not permissible for you even to speak about the weaknesses and the faults of your own father, your close father, right? المماثلين لنا, فكيف في آباء الأقدم الأعظم الأكرم النبي الأقدم subhanahu wa ta'ala anhu. So then how is it permissible when you are not encouraged to speak about the weaknesses of your own parents? How then can you speak about the Adam alayhi salam was a great Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what Sheikh Ibn Arabi is saying here is this, that you don't discuss all of these things, the weakness of the Anbiya, except when you are forced to, when it comes in your studies. So if you are not allowed to discuss their weaknesses, how then did you try to use their mistakes to prove your point for the importance of Da'wat and Tabligh? The example I gave you of Musa alayhi salam, when he went to meet Allah Ta'ala. He went on the instruction of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala called him to speak to him, but here he's being categorized, or he's being criticized or castigated for leaving his people and going to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you need to see there's the important principle. So I told you that we discuss this, that, like that in a respectful manner. Like that's why we say we make an appropriate, what you call ta'wil, explanation for the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wa taslim. We'll say that Adam alayhi salam, in his desire to remain close to Allah Ta'ala, in his desire to remain close in Jannah, etc. That is why he ate of the tree. You do not what you call it, speak bad about him, etc. Are you with me? So ويذكر خطيئته. So Adam alayhi salam will mention his mistake. التي أصاب أكله من الشجرة, that which he ate from the tree. وقد نهي عنه, whilst he's been prohibited to eat it. So you say ولكن يأتوا نوحا. He said go to Nuh. أول نبي بعث الله إلى أهل الأرض. He is the first Nabi that has been sent to the people of the earth. Now, it's an interesting masla here. See here in this why I'll discuss this here. Here it says Noah alayhi salam was the first Nabi, right? And that's why some people of the opinion that Adam alayhi salam was not a Nabi. Some people of the opinion that Adam alayhi salam was not a Nabi. Now we done this also here in this kitab Aqidatul Tahawiyah. It's a clear hadith, explicit hadith mentioned that Adam alayhi salam was a Nabi. He was a Nabi. When Sahaba Ikram asked Nabi who was the first Nabi, etc., etc., and he mentioned to them who was the first Nabi, then what does this mean here then? What this means here is he was the first Nabi that was sent to the non-Muslims. There were Anbiya before him, but they were sent for the rectification. They were sent for the rectification of the Muslims, not for the rectification of the non-Muslims. So remember that according to us, the correct thing is that Adam was a Nabi. Right? فيأتون نوحا فيقولوا يقول نوح يقول لست هناك, I'm not that position. ويذكر خطيئة التي أصاب على ربه بغير علم. Then he will mention his mistake, the one way Asaba, so Allah, where he got his question to his Rabbi Khair. He asked Allah Ta'ala something which he didn't have the proper knowledge. He'll say, Walakin to Ibrahim, go to Ibrahim Khalil al-Rahman, G. I think it was that one, yeah. Inna laysa min ahlik, inna amnu ghayru salih, fala tas'alni ma laysa laka, jazakallah. Fala tas'alni ma laysa laka bi'ilm. He said, he's making reference, correct, jazakallah for that. He made reference to the incident where he asked, he said, Yallah, you promised that you're going to save my children from destruction. And here my son is not with us, he's going to be destroyed. So Allah Ta'ala said that he is not from amongst your family. Inna amanu ghayru salih. He does not have good actions, right? So that shows you that this was what he asked Allah Ta'ala without any knowledge. ولكن يأتوا إبراهيم خليل الرحمن, but go to Ibrahim, the friend of Allah Ta'ala. قال فيأتون إبراهيم, you will go to Ibrahim فيقول إني لست هناك, you say I'm not that person. ويذكر ثلاث كذبات, you will mention 3 mistakes he made. I tell you again, the word is written lies, but obviously it's not possible that a Nabi could lie, right? ويذكر ثلاث كذبات كذبهن, that he, the 3 untruths he spoke. And what are the 3 untruths he spoke? One is, remember, it comes in the Quran, when the kuffar were having the festival, he said, قال إني سقيم, I'm not going to go without you to the festival. I'm not feeling well. And he broke those idols, right? So there, he meant he's unwell, mentally or unwell, emotionally. And the second one was this year, when he was traveling with his wife, Sarah alayhi salam, and there was this deviant king, the sick king. If anybody had a beautiful wife, he would want the wife from that person. So Ibrahim made a plan. Sarah said, if the king come, say you're not my wife, say you're my sister. Ukhti fillah, you are my sister in Islam, or Ukhti fil Islam, like so to say, you're not my biological sister. So that's what he meant, to save himself from the deviant king. Although the king still, she was such a beautiful, pretty woman, the king still wanted to do his funny thing with her. But there's an interesting story when he stretches his hand out to remember the king became paralyzed. That was the second one. And the third one was Yafaqala Inni Saqim, and this one here. Or the other one is where when the kuffar came back and then the idols were destroyed. So asked Ibrahim, who killed him? He said, the big one here killed him, right? So that one, so it was apparently it seemed to be outwardly a lie. بل فعله كبيرهم هذا فاسألهم. But anyway, we're going to do more of that when we come here. So that was what you say. Tawriya. Tawriya means when you say something, the person understands one thing, but you intend another thing. It's not so to say an open lie. Are you with me? So he also, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he excused himself from this and said, look, I can't help you out here because I need to, got my own problems that I need to see to, right? And I told you, this is all حسنات الأبرار سيئات المقربين ثلاث كذبات كذبونا ولكن يأتي موسى عبدا آتاه الله التوراة. Go to Musa, he's a servant of Allah, gave him the Torah. وكلم, spoke to him. وقربه نجيا, Allah brought him close as a person who spoke to him. قال فيأتون موسى, they'll come to Musa, فيقول إني لست هناكم, I'm not that person, I can't speak. ويذكر خطيئته التي أصاب قتل النفس, he will mention his mistakes, the one way he perpetrated قتله النفس, he's killing of a person. Remember when the two people were fighting and he stretched his hand out and he gave, again, I told you this was not an open sin because his intention was not to kill that person. He under, you can say he underrated, he understood his power, right? ولكن to Isa, but go to Isa Abdullah ورسوله وروحه. He will go to Isa وكلمته, he's the word of Allah Ta'ala. He was born without the father, he was only born with the kalima. قال فيأتون عيسى فيقول يسوهناكم ولكن يأتوا محمد. I can't do that for you. You need to go to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He's the man. عبدا غفر الله له ما تقدم من ذنب. He is the person who Allah Ta'ala has already forgiven what he had done from his sins before and afterwards. See, غفر الله ما تقدم من ذنبي وما تأخر. So if you look at these words here, also it seems like that Nabi committed sins. But what this means is that he is ma'moon al-aqibah. It's not in the literal sense that he committed sins and his sins were forgiven. It means he's already been guaranteed Jannah. That person has already been guaranteed. So from this you also understand that even the Anbiya alayhi salatu taslim, they recognize and they acknowledge the status of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why we say, also we the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we unanimously say that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most virtuous of all the Anbiya alayhi salatu taslim. There are clear hadiths, Ana Sayyid Wuli Adam, Ana Sayyid. There are some hadith where Nabi sallam pays tribute to Ibrahim alayhi salam, etc. So our answer is that maybe that was his humility, or that was before he got the information that he will be the leader. So that's how we interpreted those hadith, right? So anyway, وَمَا تَخْرَقَلَ فَيَأْتُونَ right? They will come to him, فَيَأْتُونِي, they will come to him, right? فَأَسْتَعْذِنُ عَلَى رَبِّي فِي دَارِهِ. So I will seek permission upon my Rabb in his place. فَيُؤْذَنُ لِي عَلَيْهِ. It will be given permission to go. It will be that they can come in his prison. فَإِذَا رَأَيْتُهُ, when I see Allah Ta'ala, وَقَعْتُ سَاجِدًا, I will fall into sajda, right? فَيَدَعُنِي مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَن يَدَعَنِي. Allah Ta'ala will leave me for whatever he wishes to leave me in sajda. فَيَقُولُ إِرْفَعْ مُحَمَّدٍ. After I praise him, to be said, raise your head, O Muhammad. تُسْمَعْ, you will be heard. وَاشْفَعْ, to shafa', seek intercession, your intercession will be sought. وَسَلْ تُعْطَى, ask whatever you want to, you will be granted. فَأَرْفَعُ رَاسِي, I will raise my head. فَأُثْنِي عَلَى رَبِّي بِثَنَاءٍ وَتَحْمِيدٍ يُعَلِّمُنِيهِ. Then I will praise upon Allah Ta'ala at that point in time with such praising and such praises and such venerations. يُعَلِّمُنِيهِ, Allah Ta'ala will teach me at that time. ثُمَّ أَشْفَعُ, then I will seek intercession. فَيُحَدُّ لِي حَدًّا, then it will be fixed for me a number. فَأَخْرُجُهُمْ مِنَ النَّارِ, I will remove them from the fire of Jahannam. وَأُدْخِلُهُمُ الْجَنَّةَ, I will enter them into Jannah. ثُمَّ أَعُودُ الثَّانِيَ, and I'll do that for a second time. فَأَسْتَعْذِنُ لِرَبِّي, I will seek permission of Allah for a second time في داري, to come into his presence. Dari means in his place, but means into his presence. Right? Obviously, Allah doesn't have a fixed location. فَيُؤْذَنُ لِي عَلَيْهِ, will be granted permission for me. فَإِذَا رَأَيْتُهُ, when I see him, وَقَعْتُ سَاجِدًا, I will fall in sajda. فَيَدْعُنِي مَا شَاءَ أَن يَدْعَنِي, he will leave me as long as he wants to leave me. فَيَقُولُ إِرْفَعْ مُحَمَّدٍ, raise your Muhammad. قُلْ تَسْمَعْ, speak, you will be heard. وَاشْفَعْ تُشَفَّعْ, seek intercession, your intercession will be heard. وَسَلْ تُعْطَى, ask, you will be granted. قال فأرفع رأسي, I will raise my head. فأثني على ربي بثناء وتحميد يعلمنيه, then I will praise on my Rabb with such a praising and such veneration that he will teach me then. ثم أشفع, then I will seek nation. فيحد لي حدا, then a number will be fixed for me to extricate and remove from the fire of Jannah. فأخرجهم من النار, I will remove them from the fire. وأدخلهم الجنة, I will enter them into Jannah. ثم أعود الثالثة, for a third time I'll come. فاستأذنوا على ربي في داري, I'll seek permission to go into his presence. I to explain you this means doesn't mean advice in a particular place, but that's how I will get a audience with Allah Ta'ala. فيؤذن لي عليه, it will be permitted for me. فإذا رأيت وقعت له ساجدا, I will fall again into sajda, right? فيدعني ما شاء الله أن يدعني, he will leave me for whatever wants to leave me. ثم يقول ارفع محمد, raise your Muhammad, وقل تسمع, speak, you will be heard. واشفع تشفع, and then make shafa'at, your shafaat will be heard. وَسَلْ تُقْطَعَ, she will be granted. قال فأرفع رأسي, I'll raise my head. فأثني على ربي بثناء وتحميد. I will praise Allah Ta'ala and I will venerate him. يعلمنيه, he will teach me. ثم أشفع, and I may seek shafa'at. فيحد لي حدا, and again another number will be fixed for me that I can remove. فأخرجوا, فأخرجوا, now come out, فأخرجهم من النار, and I will remove them from Jahannam, وأدخلهم الجنة, and I will enter them Jannah, حتى ما بقي في النار إلا من قد حبس القرآن, until nobody will remain except those people who the Quran has kept them back. In other words, the Quran has emphatically said that these people won't come out of the fire of Jannah. These people won't come. And who are the people that won't come? أي وجب عليه الخلود, those people who eternity is fixed for them. ثم تلا هذه الآية, then he recites this verse that shows عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا, which verse means إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. Allah Ta'ala won't forgive those people who make shirk, he will forgive anyone else besides that. Then he recites عسى أن يبعثك, perhaps Allah Ta'ala will grant you the maqam al-mahmud. I told you the maqam al-mahmud is the place of shafaat. وهذا المقام المحمود الذي وعده نبيكم. This is the maqam al-mahmud, the one which your prophet has promised you. Okay, so most of the hadith there is self-explanatory. It's just one, two things that we must explain tomorrow. We'll go through that inshallah. But as I said, I covered most of the things. And the other thing is here, see, the initial part of the hadith speaks about shafa'at kubra, and the latter part speaks about the shafa'at sughra. If you're sharp, you'll have picked it up already. But as I said, we look at the explanation, the detailed explanation of this tomorrow. We'll switch over now to the tafsir, inshallah.